How are we doing? Everything looks good. All right, I got to get the links up into the groups. All right, I think we got her. Check the time real quick. All right, we got about 4 minutes to go. We'll just 3:48, 8 minutes in. I just wanted to get us started early so that anybody who wanted to join could. If somebody could comment, just so I can make sure that I'm seeing comments here. This is one of my first YouTube live videos. There we go. All right, Wayne, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for joining me. Mike, how you doing, buddy? Appreciate it. Yeah, could somebody? Why is it disappearing? Hopefully that stays up there. Disappeared the last time. Mike, can you throw another comment up there for me, would you? I just want to make sure. Okay, there we go. Deliverer 7,000. Good day to you, my friend. All right, appreciate it. Yeah, they're coming up. They do disappear, but I know how to put them back up. So this is definitely kind of a new experience. Hopefully you guys are doing good. I'll give you a little update on my next situation, since it doesn't really pertain to billet spin, and some people were asking. Wayne just got off work. Awesome, love to hear it. Yeah, so I had neck surgery, had a neck fusion, July 19th, and I'm doing really good. I would say I'm probably at, I don't know, 90% right now. Feeling really good. Pain is gone. The shooting pain is gone. It was a brutal winter for me, or brutal summer for me. But yeah, things are good. Feeling good, and I can't tell you how happy I am to not have that pain anymore. So life is good, for sure. I feel horrible for people who have chronic pain and they can't get rid of it. So we're going to start in 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes should get us right at about the 11 o'clock, which I had promised. So just let everybody kind of filter in. Whoever wants to find us, I posted the links in Billet Spin on my page and in Reddit. So anybody who's going to join us, they'll be able to do that. So please, so basically what I'm going to do here, and I'll go through this again here right before we start. I'm just gonna, I have questions that people had posted through Facebook, Instagram, direct messages, Reddit. I'm gonna cover those questions, but if you have questions, just type them in and I'll see them, and then you guys will kind of get the preferential treatment. I'll take care of any questions that you guys have once we get this thing running. So just fire them away. If by some chance I miss a question, just type it in again so I see it again, and I'll make sure that I get it covered. So this won't be too long if nobody has any questions that aren't covered in what I have, you know, from the people who already posted questions. And I see that I'm looking over here because I'm looking at myself when the camera's here, so I'll have to try to look there. Yeah, that looks better. Makes it look like I'm looking right at you. So, okay. All right, well, let's get started. Close enough to 11 o'clock here. Appreciate everybody being here. Like I said, if you have any questions, that's really what this is all about, is to answer any questions that you guys have about really anything. And it doesn't even have to be billet spin related. If you just have EDC questions, you know, one of the questions that's on here is the difference between like Timascus and Mokutai, and we'll cover that. So I can answer those things. Any types of materials that we use, you got questions about those, or you want to know how Damascus works, or you know how you get patterns. Pretty much anything EDC related, I'll be able to tell you what I know, and you might have questions that I don't have the answers to, and I'll let you know that also. So first off, what is Billet Spin? Billet Spin is a company that we started back in 2015. We make EDC products. EDC is everyday carry, so items that people carry on their persons throughout the day. Pens, for us personally, of the products that we make, pens, whistles, spinning tops are our big ones, and now as of about a year and a half ago, the Gambit, which is a ball marker, fidget token, card guard for poker, just a really cool fidget that you can carry in your pocket. You know, does kind of the same thing as a spinning top does. So we started that back in 2015, and it's just grown. Our website is www.billetspin.com, and the current thing that we're really focusing on right now are pens, titanium pens. This guy here is our latest, the Cam pen. This is our Soul pen. We're going to get into those here in a little bit. But yeah, basically we try to do our drops every Wednesday. And we do our best to release new stuff. We try to release it every week. We've been just building our inventory of pens because it's a new thing that we started, and it's just kind of exploded. So it's been really hard for us to keep up with the demand, and I want to keep these pens in stock. So that's kind of our goal. So we've been doing that for probably, I think we started the Cam pen, I think it was in March or April. So it's been going on for quite a while. The inventory is really coming along nice. Let's get into the Soul pen. So this was our original pen that we came out with. And this was, I think we came out with this like 2018, 2019, something like that. It uses a mechanism that we designed in-house. And basically these pens, they're built to last a lifetime. So heirloom quality type stuff. We've got a bronze bushing, stainless steel pin, and then a stainless steel dowel pin that goes in there. And it's the push button style actuation. This particular model is a satin shine. It's got a blasted teardrop titanium outer. And for those of you that want to know, if you don't have a Sol pen and you want a weight on this, let me get you a weight. It's about 40 grams. So 40 grams in titanium. Obviously, if we use other materials, it's gonna vary. It takes the Parker style refill. So any Parker style refill, if you're new to pens and you don't know what a Parker style refill is, if it looks like this, it's a Parker style refill. If you go to your Office Max or Staples, or you can go on Amazon and look up Parker style refills, and any Parker style refill is going to fit into the Sol pen. Yeah, those are on a website. We don't have, I think they're all sold out currently, but we're going to be dropping these soon. Tomorrow we start making the pusher bushing. I can show you what that looks like. So take this thing apart, and we have the pusher, and this little guy right here is called the pusher bushing, and we don't have any of those right now. We have all of the other components for the Sol pen, but we do not have the pusher bushing. And so we start on those tomorrow, and so there won't be a release tomorrow of Sol pens, but after that, that's when you're going to start seeing a flood of Sol pens. And we're going to kind of do what we did with the Cam pen, where once we start dropping them, we're going to try to keep them in stock. If possible, we do have limited amounts of barrels. We have a lot, but if we were to run out of stock, it would probably be because of the barrel. So that's the Sol pen, push button mechanism, teardrop shaped pattern. Got a really nice clip on there, machine clip. It has a T-slot that fits in there. You can look it up on YouTube if you want more details about that, or if you have questions right now, let me know what they are. This is the Cam pen. This is our latest one, and to actuate the Cam pen, you simply take and push the actuator over, and then it snaps back. So you can see how it extends the refill out, snaps back. And this one I want to talk to you a little bit more about. So this one, I'll show you what the mechanism looks like for the Cam pen. It looks like this. And I'll get this view right here. So you can see when you rotate that stainless steel piece, it pushes that up and down. There's a little detent up there. You can see it sits into, comes down. And we had some issues because the Cam pen utilizes a mechanism unlike anything else out there. There's nothing else out there like this. We had some issues. We did a ton of testing. One of our friends here that's watching can attest to that. We did an absolute ton of testing, and we felt like we really had this thing dialed down, and we did. But we ended up having some customer service issues on the first couple releases. And I'll skip right to the good part. The problem was in these pins, the pins here. And you would get, after a while, they would get like a gritty feel, and that was about 1 out of 10 that would have issues. And since then, we've done a couple different revisions, but this last revision we did, it was about a month ago now, where we changed the way the pins assemble into the end cap here, and that was the problem. So now they're it's like a press fit into here. The pins can't move, and that changed it. So now the pins, the bronze piece slides on the pins rather than the pins sliding inside of this titanium piece, which this one happens to be Zerk, but it would slide in there, and that's where the issues were. So since we did that, you guys, hopefully you know I'm an honest guy here, we have had 0 customer service issues, and we have sold a ton of pens in the last month. 0 customer service issues. They're smoother, they're better, and we haven't had a single issue with any of this newest version of the Cam pen. And you gotta realize that even back in when we first did them, we were getting like 10%, and then we did a revision, and then it was down to like 8% customer service issues. Then it would get down to like 5%. But I wanted to keep improving the mechanism, and when I did that, it was when I pressed those pins in there instead of having them loose in there. Made all the difference in the world, and I wish I would have done that right away, but I didn't, and it is what it is. Coming up with new stuff is difficult. But I just want you to know that for those of you that are on the fence, or those of you that have seen some issues that we have with the cam pen, and there's a comment right there, replacement mechanism works amazing. So that's what we're after. I apologize for the issues. It's just all part of the new process, especially when it comes to making something unlike anything else out there. But we'll take care of you. If you ever have any issues with any of our products whatsoever, you let me know, and we will 100% take care of you. So those are that's the different ones. Now this is a Zerk one. We'll get a weight on this. So this has got a Zerk body, titanium clip. You can see that's a screw-on clip, titanium actuator, and then this in here, this piece here, is stainless steel. And that's stainless steel because these surfaces ride on each other, and if this was like titanium, titanium on titanium will gall, and that's hence the problem we had with the pins in there, and they were galling. So that needs to be stainless steel. I will probably play with some other materials just for decorative purposes, but you know, Wayne, I appreciate that. Bolt action pens are super awesome. They're great. I just wanted to do something very unique and original, and I feel like we've done that. Favorite EDC at the moment? I love to hear that. Yeah, I love the simplicity of you just slide it forward, snaps back. You can see the detent, so it actually drops into a detent there. And so what we're using, too, for those of you that have cam pens, we're using dry lube. Dry lube with Teflon Blaster is what it's called. Blaster with Teflon. If you search that, you'll find the spray. That's what we use. Pretty much, I can tell you that with the new style, having those pins pressed in there, that it's not nearly as lube sensitive. So basically, Timascus pens win. Let's get right into that. But it's not nearly as lube sensitive. You can put anything on there, but dry lube is definitely better from what we have seen. For sure, it's better. So Timascus, are you referring to Timascus Soul pens? Those are coming soon. We have the pusher bushings and we have the Timascus. So the Timascus, Black Timascus Soul pen variations will be coming out real quick here. What I would tell you is that in probably late this week, early next week, if you want a Timascus Soul pen, just contact us and we'll make you one. The thing with Timascus is because the patterns are different with Timascus, and I should have had one in here, but I think you guys are all familiar with Timascus, but it's a layered titanium that's made by Alpha Knife Supply. If it's called Timascus, it's made by Alpha Knife Supply. And because it's kind of a handmade, hand-forged material, the patterns are different. So each pen is going to look different. The patterns are not going to be exactly the same. And so because of that, and then we flame it in order to color it, and because of that, each one is unique. So that's why I don't want to just post a stock photo and then sell a bunch. I want to post a picture of the actual pen that you're going to be getting. So we only sell one at a time of those. But if you contact me and say, hey, I want a full Timascus or a full black Timascus, and these are the colors that I'm looking for, you know, we will do our best. The thing you got to know, though, is that if you do that, if you request a Timascus, we're going to try to hit those colors, but it's kind of like I'm counting on you to commit, where, you know, we're going to do the absolute best we can. We want to make sure you're happy with it. But once those colors are on there, that's pretty much it. So if you don't want it, if you back out of the sale at that point, like let's say you want some crazy colors, some pinks and some yellows and greens, and then you back out, other people might not want that color pattern, and then I'm stuck with it. So that'd be the only thing if you're going to go that route. The best thing I can tell you is just wait until we post them. Find the one you like. You know, we'll try to post them every week. Find the one you like and buy it. That way you can see pictures before you commit to it. But those are coming for the Soul pen soon. Full Timascus cam pen. Now there's $1 million question. When is that coming? Basically for the cam pen, what we're doing, we are going through the different materials slowly. So as you can see, we just moved on to Zerk. We just released a full Zerk. And on that topic, the screws will never be made out of Zerk. And the reason that is because my friend Brian Fellholter said don't ever make screws out of Zerk. The material's just not conducive for threads. A lot of customer service issues. So I'm going to listen to my friend because obviously Brian's a huge name in the pen market. I have nothing but respect for him. Love the tie bolts and everything else he makes, honestly. And so we're going to stick with titanium hardware as far as the actuator and the clip screws. Those are going to be titanium. So I might be able to do a Zerk sleeve inside of here. So I'm going to be playing with that probably in the next month. But Timascus, full Timascus cam pens or Timascus cam pens, the clips, I literally just ordered Timascus for the clips yesterday. So what does that mean? It means that we're probably 3 months away from actually seeing finished clips. So full Timascus pens, cam pens, you'll see them next year. I'm gonna guess the later half of next year when we finally get around to full Timascus. And by full Timascus, I still won't be doing the hardware in Timascus. That'll still just be titanium. So, yeah, well, whatever Brian does, Brian does. Yeah, you guys can just read that in the comments. So anyways, that's the Timascus. If you guys got any other questions about that, let me know. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Otherwise, hopefully that answers your question there. So these are some questions. So I had posted, nothing to be sorry about, bud. I had posted questions online leading up to this live video so that if anybody had one and they weren't going to be able to make the live video, they could post the questions and I would be able to get to them. Okay. Before we get to that, Justin says, for the full Zerk cam pen, why not DLC or internals black? I don't like any coatings. I don't like coatings. Coatings, we deal with coatings in our main company, and I just don't like them. An anodized layer or a flame layers are different than a coating. An anodized layer is part of the material. A coating is just something that's over the top, and it's not that there aren't quality coatings out there. There are. I just personally don't like them. And so in Billet Spin, since the beginning, I've always made stuff that I want to make. I've always done things the way that I want to do them, and I love customer input on stuff, but it always comes down to just doing what I want to do, what I like to do, what I feel proud of making. And just because of my experience with coatings, and I have a decent amount of experience with it because of our main company, which is, the company's called J Style Machine. This company existed, my dad started that. Billet Spin is just a small company inside of our main company, J Style Machine. But because of that, I have a lot of experience in it. Coatings are just not something I'm a huge fan of. But it's a great question, totally legitimate question. And yeah, and that's a whole nother thing. If you wanted to know all details and stuff I don't like about coatings, I can go to get into that more towards the end of the video for sure. Great question. Okay, again, if you guys got anything, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to get into the online questions. Hi, Rich, how you feeling? Hope you are healing up well and quickly because of my neck surgery. I'm doing great. Is there anything you need from us that we can help you with? No, not at all. Just appreciate all of you, honestly. Yeah, definitely nothing I need from you guys. Just keep being awesome. Separately, just wanted to say that the various cam pens I've gotten to use are great. Thanks for creating such a fun design. Regarding future variants, will you have any new patterns on the barrel? So machining patterns on the cam pen on the barrel. And the answer to that is yes. We are going to get stocked up a bunch of different combos of this iteration, machining iteration, meaning they're all the same here, but we use different materials. We want to get those in stock. We're going to worry about that first. And then will there be various specialty drops of cam pens with different machining? Yes. Down the road for sure, but it's going to be a while. Okay, if so, what could folks look forward to seeing? That I don't have any plans specifically, but we'll get crazy. You know how we did the twist with the Soul Pen. We're gonna do some cool stuff for sure, but I don't have anything in the plans as of right now. And last, if you could make a cam pen with a similar colorway to the twist design fully flame Zerk Soul Pen with Blurple titanium and pusher, yet more blue than purple, that'd be pretty nifty. Yeah, that definitely can happen. In the twist, will it be exactly like the twist of the Soul Pen? I wouldn't make it exactly, but I would definitely do a twist. I got a please on that one, and I think, yeah. So we will 100% do a twist version of the cam pen. I wish I had a twist version of the Soul Pen. If you don't know what that looks like, you can go to our website, or you can look up Twist Soul Pen. Google that, Google image that, and it'll show you what these look like. But we will definitely do the Campen's own version of a twist, because who doesn't like a twisted barrel? I love it. I love the way the machining looks. Again, what you got to realize is that when you do a twist, here's a little information for you. So when you do a twist, this barrel right here is all done. It's all done being turned. So what that means is that all these patterns are, Wayne, hit me up with that question here in a couple minutes. That's a great question. All this is done with turning. So in machining, you have two different types of machining. You have turning and you have milling. And this is done turning. So what does that mean? It means that it takes about the same amount of time to put all this decorative detail in here as it would if that wasn't there, if it was just turning straight across. It takes almost the exact same amount of time. Now, if you look at milling, what happens with this barrel is this doesn't rotate, and we have a tool that comes down and rotates, like a tool in a drill press. That's a mill. A drill press is a mill because the tool rotates. Turning means that the part itself is rotating, and you have a turning tool that comes across and cut diameters. So this stops, and then you mill this. So the sole pen takes much longer, 3 times, over twice as long to make a sole pen barrel as it does a Campen barrel, because of this has milling on it and this does not. Now you have milling in here, the slot that opens up through the barrel, but as far as the grip pattern. So what happens is when you get into a pattern that you have milling, it adds quite a bit of cost to the product, to make it, to machine it. So that will be the drawback, and that is why I wanted to keep, I really wanted to hit the 150 price point in titanium of the Campen, and that's why we did all turning for the grip. So if we do offer a sole pen, which is one of our future questions here, with a ring variety, it will cost a little bit less because we don't have all of that milling. So yeah, so a twist design in Zerk with the Blurple, with the blue favorite, the blue, because Blurple is blue and purple, but favoring the blue definitely. So will that happen? Yes, it will happen. In fact, one of the next pens we release is going to be Zerk, excuse me, with blue hardware. So that'll be pretty sweet. That's one of the future ones coming up soon. Okay, next question. Oh, Wayne wanted to know about the durability of Zerk. Let's talk about that. How durable is Zerk? This question I get all of the time, okay? So Zerk, when you machine it, it looks just like titanium. It looks just like this. And then after you machine it, you clean it, you polish it, whatever you're going to do to it, and then you heat it up. And with Zerk, you get it pretty much red hot, just where it just starts to turn red, and it turns this dark gray, gunmetal, black color. That's what happens. And the Zerk, and I know, Wayne, I know you asked about the oil slick. I'll get into that in a second. But the full flame Zerk finish is extremely durable. In fact, of all of your colored metals, and I don't want to say anodized, because anodized means it's been electro-anodized. Flame, there is no such thing as flame anodizing. Ano is electrical. So when you color something using anodizing, it's when you use electricity. So Moses on the 8-ish scale, yeah, it's extremely hard. I can take this on a buffing wheel, and it takes a lot of work to buff through it. So I have a wood table here. You're not going to scratch through it doing that. If you were to put it on sandpaper, you could rub through the Zerk finish for sure if it was on sandpaper. But through normal use, you're definitely not going to go through it. You're not going to go through it just with your hands or pulling it in and out of your pocket. Here's the thing I'll tell you about Zerk. If by chance you do happen to scratch it, like let's say that you had, some sand, like let's say you had sand on your jeans or something and you rubbed it on the sand, you possibly could get a scratch in there, right? If you did, you would just take the pen apart, pull everything apart, have just the barrel separate, and then you could just take and flame it. And you could do it probably with just a lighter. And you could get it hot, and the scratch would be silver, and it would be silver through the black, and it would turn black when I scratched it on the table, yeah. But the scratch would turn silver, or the silver scratch would turn black, and it would match this. And so the scratch itself would still physically be there, but you wouldn't be able to see it as well because it would turn silver. So yeah, so scratching it on the table like that, all day long. Absolutely no problems. You're not going to see anything. You're going to see some dirt that I just picked up, but it's not going to scratch through the Zerk. So that's a question I get constantly. It is extremely durable. Is it just impervious to damage? No, you can damage it for sure. But honestly, because the finish is so hard, it's just one of the best options out there. And to be truthful, I've been using Zerk for a long time, and I have not heard, we've sold, thousands and thousands and thousands of Zerk products, and I could tell you it's less than 5 times when I had somebody contact me because they've scratched through it. So I'm not telling you it's impossible. It is possible for sure, but it's an extremely durable finish, and yeah. So this is done by flaming. And then your electrical anodizing, that's what we use in titanium. You can use it in Zerk too. You can electroanodize Zerk, and you can do different colors. And Wayne wanted to know how durable is the oil slick. So when you flame Zerk, what you do is you stop right before it gets red hot. And the color before this one, this is your charcoal black. I don't like calling it black. It's like a really, really deep dark gray. The color right before that is oil slick. So the thicker the anodized layer, the more durable it is. So oil slick is extremely durable because it's almost the same thickness as the full flamed. Not quite though. So the full flame is going to be just a tiny bit more. Again, not a finish that I'm worried about. So if I tell you that, I'm pretty conservative on my stuff. If I'm telling you, you can do this with oil slick too, and it's not going to cause any damage. It's a very, very durable finish. So if you're on the fence because of durability, don't be. If by chance you damage something and you want to send it back for us to give it a little touch up, we're more than happy to do that as well, depending on the issue. We've had some people that have done some horrible things to theirs, and sometimes we just can't fix it for you, but we'll do our best, obviously. Okay. If anybody doesn't have any other, I think we got everything up to date so far. The next question, hi Rich, I love your pens and your customer service really is the best in the business. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. We do our best to make sure our customer service is as good as it possibly can be. I've narrowed my collection down to just 5 machine pens and 2 are from Billet Spin. That is awesome, and I appreciate that. Oil slick is very attractive. We'll definitely purchase one in the future. Love to hear that, Wayne. Okay, I've asked before, but any chance of a Sol pen compatible with an Energel Pilot G2 refills, and what about the twist design on the cam pen barrel, which we've already talked about? Okay, let's talk about Energel. Energel, so we did a G2 nose cap for the cam pen that you can buy. You can order a cam pen with the standard, which the cam pen takes the Parker style. The G2 refill is shaped differently, but it will fit inside of the barrel. And so we have a longer nose cap just for the G2, and in fact, we're running Zerk G2 nose caps right now, literally right now. So those will be coming available pretty soon. And it's longer because the refill itself is longer, and that way you don't have to trim it, and it comes with a different spring because the tip of the refill is shaped differently. So when you buy the nose cap, you get the spring as well, and it accommodates it. The Energel that I bought does fit in the cam pen using the G2 refill, but because the tip is different on the Energel, the spring tension's a little bit different. So I'm sure you could just buy a couple different springs and find something. That's the cam pen. I do not have anything in the Sol pen that will accommodate a G2 refill. Is that coming? Yeah, it's coming eventually. Eventually we will make, I don't know if I'll make an adapter nose cap like I did with the cam pen, or just make a completely different design Sol pen that accepts a G2. But yeah, we're eventually, the Energel seems to have a cult following, not as much as the G2, but, and they are different, they're shaped different. But we will eventually get around to that. But that is the last thing we're gonna do. So when I say last, it means basically my short-term plan, or it's not even short-term, it's like a mid-term plan, is to have all of our Sol pen models in stock, all of our cam pen models in stock, and that's going to probably be about 25 different pens that are going to be in stock on the website. Okay, an explanation of why these things cost so much. I hate that they do that. Okay, yeah, pricing. I don't even know how to pronounce your username, buddy. I don't know if you care if I call you Mike online here, but I'm gonna call you Mike because I don't. Someday I'll have to look at that, what that actually is, and yeah, maybe it's a word I know. Mike is fine. Love it. Okay. Pricing. That's a fantastic one. Okay, so yeah, so let's finish up with this one. Yeah, basically, we will do a G2 Soul Pen, and I will do an Energel, but you're talking way down the road. Probably end of next year at the earliest, okay? So for those of you Energel fans, that will happen because there's been enough of you that are love these things. And so, yeah. Okay, pricing. Mike brings up a really, really good question. Let's talk about pricing. I could do a whole live video just on pricing. So the machines that these pens both run on, I'll give you a little bit. We obviously have material cost. Let's talk about the material cost first. So titanium, the tubing is not too much per inch. I want to say the cost of the barrel just for the material, I want to say is about it's like 15 or 20 bucks for the cost. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. When you get into the solid stock of the nose cap, the end cap on this one, the nose cap on this one, the solid stock costs a lot more per inch. And so it adds up quick. I mean, the cost of the nose cap actually is about the same. So let's call it 20 bucks for material here. You got another 20 bucks of material here. You got another 20 bucks of material for the end cap. You got material cost here. Obviously, you got material cost for the clip. Cam pen, it's the same thing. So the material cost is definitely a big part of it. When you get into Timascus is very expensive for you could say 1.25" diameter, your basic twist. You know, you can go on Alpha Knife Supply website and you can see how much this stuff costs, but it's well over $100 per inch of that diameter material. So things get crazy expensive with materials. Now, as far as machining, so this pen is machined on a 5-axis machine out there. The barrel is, and that allows us to do turning and milling at the same time in the same operation. You have lathes, you have mills, and then you have these hybrid machines like a 5-axis we have out there that can do both at the same time. And the advantage of that is that because it can turn it and then mill it at the same time, not literally while it's machining, but it's in one operation, meaning the material's in there, we can turn it and then we can mill it, and then the operation is done. That makes the relationship from the turning to the milling very precise because it's done in the same operation. If you were to do this differently, and I know other pen manufacturers, we're not going to bring up any names, but other pen manufacturers that don't have like a 5-axis like what we have, they have to do the turning, then they have to take it out of the lathe, they have to put it into a mill, have a special fixture, 4th-axis machine to do machining like this or any milling patterns like the Soul Pen here. Now these machines, the machine that we run this on is a $500,000 machine. Costs a lot of money, and you have to pay for that machine. So in machine shops, there's a burden rate that we use per hour, just like if you go get your oil change. And companies just have burden rates, and that's how they calculate out cost. So the burden rate on these machines is extremely high. It costs a lot of money in order just to do this. Now, I'll give you another idea of how this all works. Like prototyping on this machine, I would say we probably had $30,000 to $40,000 in cost of prototyping the Cam pen. We hadn't even sold one yet, and we had that much cost already. We were already in the hole that much. So you can see the cost of machine. I don't want this to drag on too long because I could talk about this for hours, depending on how much detail you guys would want. We could do it in another live video, but the cost of machining is way beyond. I'm going to tell you one more story about this. I had a friend this last Saturday who wanted me to make a jig for him, and if you want to see this jig, you can. He literally just posted a video of it. It's Strong Knife Company on Instagram, Strong Knife Company. It'll show you the jig we made. And you know, he's like, hey, can you make this jig for me? And I'm like, yeah. And we made the jig. and it took us about 8 hours to make this jig. And when we were done, I asked him, I said, did you enjoy this experience? And he said, I had no idea it was that much work. I had no idea. I thought CNCs, you just push some buttons and it makes stuff. People have just, he's like, I had no clue. He says, I feel horrible for asking you to do this. And I'm like, I have no problem doing it. I love educating people on machining, but he was absolutely floored by how much work this was. And so, yeah, it's never as easy as you think. It takes more time than you think. And then you have the machining cost. Mike just posted something here. That's totally fine. $500 machine is a cool addition. I always have to guess the cost by Googling the model number shops. Yeah, so that's what you can do. You can, if you see pictures, you can Google it. Machine prices, they won't tell you. You can look up used models. New machines, unless you get into the lower end models or the lower end brands, they won't tell you the price of the machine online, which is hard. But if you ever want to know the price of the machines that we have out here, I'll be more than happy to tell you. Anything you want to know about machining costs, I'm an open book. I don't hide anything. How long does it take to break even if the cost is so astronomically high? Well, that's a tough one, and that's how we price it. So the Cam Pen is a long-term, it's like a forever product for us. We plan on having these things in stock as long as we're in business. And so I could get the price down. But I will tell you this truthfully, that the Cam Pen has the absolute smallest margin of any product I've ever made in billet spin. And I'm okay with that because we sell so many of these, and over time we will recoup that. Have we recouped that cost now, even though we've sold tons of these things? No, not even close. We haven't recouped that cost. But over time we will. So right now, we're definitely in the hole on the Cam Pen. That's just part of business. I really wanted to hit that $150 price point, to which I have been criticized by other makers even about the price point of that. And yeah, it is what it is. So every time you guys comment, it just disappears. And I really wish you would stop doing that. Okay, Rich, ever thought about a wristwatch project? I love to see your take on materials and surface finishing and shape design. Yeah, I would love to do a wristwatch. At some point, hopefully it works out. I was able to knock out the pool cue. Hopefully you guys saw that. If you haven't, go to the Billet Spin, this channel you're on right now. And our last video before this one was a pool cue that I was able to do, titanium pool cue. Boy, what a nightmare project that was. Turned out fantastic. Got a really cool video of it. And but yeah, wristwatch eventually I would love to, but not anytime soon. Mike Edwards, yeah, I caught that. Any future plans for a slim Cam Pen? Yes. Again, so basically the Cam Pen cycle. Look at it like this. First, we're going to get you saw what we did with the Soul Pen and all the different models, your Thunderstorm models, your Zerk, your titanium. You start getting into more of your fancy materials. Eventually, we'll get into your coppers, your brasses, stuff like that. I purposely made the pen and designed the pen to be able to use those types of materials. So eventually, we're going to get into all sorts of different materials. And I want to have those combos up and in stock permanently in this variation right here. And that is, you've seen, this has taken a long time. Like, we've been doing the Cam Pen for a long time, and we still have a long ways to go to get all these in stock. When is the next top coming out? Hit me up here in a little bit if I forget to answer that question. So, basically, we're going to get all these in stock first. We're going to get all these in stock first. This is going to take a long time. Soul Pens and Cam Pens, get them all in stock. Once we have that, I have other products that I have to make. I have to get caught up on those. Our Gambit stuff is sold out. If you look at all our Gambit supplies, we're sold out. So we're going to have to get all that stocked up. Once I get caught up on everything, I still have chest tops to make and other tops to make. We're going to be doing that. Once I get caught up, then there'll be other variations, machining variations, actual differences, and getting into a slim. So will the slim happen? It will happen. End of next year at the absolute earliest. Okay, spinning tops. When am I going to do the next spinning top? When am I going to do the next chest top? Because this was a question that just came up. Those will be coming. I'm going to be doing a top yet this year for sure. Probably the chest top. And when I do the chest top next, I still have the pawn, the queen, the rook, and the night to do. And I'll probably knock out 2 of those at the same time. Not at the exact same time, but I'll run probably the pawn next, and then as soon as the pawn is done, I'll go on to the knight. Probably something like that. It's hard because things change all the time. Love all these questions. I'm gonna try to make sure that I don't miss you. If I miss anybody, just hit me up. Again, I'm trying to remember all of them. So the tops are definitely going to be coming. Okay. What is the most difficult material to work with? Zerk pretty much stinks. Zerk is extremely flammable. And, is that going to work? Nope, it's not going to stay up there. Zerk is extremely flammable. When you machine it, you have to make sure there's all sorts of precautions that you have to take, because one little spark will ignite Zerk, and Zerk burns super hot. It's a white flame. It's terrifying. And we had a Zerk fire in here when we first started. We actually have a special fire extinguisher, and we have a 5-gallon pail of powder just to put Zerk out. But we had a fire, and what happened was, this is crazy. So we had a job that we ran. We were making tops. I believe it was tops. We had plastic that we had run some glow plastic, and so we had in our hopper we had a bunch of glow plastic chips from the machining, right? We started running Zerk, and so the Zerk piled up on top of the glow plastic, and we try not to let too much Zerk accumulate, because if it does catch on fire, it can be catastrophic. It'll burn metal, it'll melt metal, it gets so hot. What happened was, we were doing a cutoff portion of a part in Zerk, and the cutoff, that makes a really long chip, and the chip got so long that it went down the chip conveyor, and so it was still being cut, and it was like 3/4 of the length down the chip conveyor. And what happened was, it caught on fire, and it was like a wick, and it just kept going, and now this chip conveyor is moving the whole time. By the time the fire got to the end of the chip, it had dropped into the hopper and started the entire hopper on fire. And we had flames 6 feet coming out the top of this. My maintenance guy ran over. I happened to be gone this day. He ran over, tripped actually, fell, got back up, and ran the thing outside and let this whole hopper, now our hoppers are massive, they're huge, rolled the thing outside. It sat on the parking lot, burning, black smoke pouring out of it because of it. It's extremely dangerous. So what we've done is we've actually worked with our Zerk supplier, and we've had them change the alloy that they use to make it less flammable, which definitely makes it safer. We've learned different types of tooling that we can use for it that has less friction when cutting. We just have to change it out more often. But those are the kind of extra costs that come along with doing Zerk. It's terrifying. Some bronze can be extremely difficult. Tungsten is hard to work with, but the reality is, in CNC machining, once you get the right tooling, none of it's horrible. The biggest problem you have with Zerk and even titanium is that the chips don't break. So when you're turning across here, the chip just starts making a big ball. And what happens with Zerk is, if that ball blocks the coolant that we use to turn this down, then that can ignite it, and then we have problems. So there's all sorts of little tricks that we use to machine Zerk, but it is a huge pain in the butt, and that was a fantastic question. Okay, let's see if I can scroll back up. Still carry the original whistle from you. That's awesome. I love to hear it. Okay, a lot of comments. Sweet, you guys are taking care of a lot of questions. That's awesome. What is the name of the machine, of your machine in the shop? I've been in my shop for 18 years and want a new job. So the machine, we have about 24 CNC machines. The machine that I use the most, that you'll see in our videos and stuff, is our 5-axis. It's a Mazak Integrex i200. Yeah, Mazak Integrex i200. And that machine is probably a 2012, 2013 machine, something like that. Okay, it looks like we're all caught up on the questions. Some fantastic questions, guys. Hopefully I answered all of your questions. If I missed one, just repost it up, and I'll make sure to get to it. Okay, let's see. Another guy would love to chime in and say, well, I'd love to see an Energel cam pen, which we did talk about. Amanda, yep, no problem. And this video will be posted, so you'll be able to watch it, but it's going to be pretty long. So answer, if you got other questions, just hit me up. It's okay. The more questions, the better. That's what I'm here for. I'd love to see a shorter cam pen set to take G2 mini refills. Has there been any thoughts actually going for a shorter refill? Possibly down the road. That's kind of along the same lines as the like the smaller diameter or different machining. That stuff will all happen. If there's a demand for it, I'm going to make it, period. When it comes to these pens, that's probably the best way to go. If there's a demand for it, I'm going to make it. And so, yeah, eventually. Sole pen with the ring grip, same exact thing. Same exact thing. I've had numerous people ask for that, so I will. Once we get the stock ones stocked up and in stock, then I'll start getting into the different machining variations of both the cam pen and the sole pen, and the ringed sole pen absolutely will happen. But again, you're talking probably this time next year at the earliest, so it's going to be quite a while. All right, we had quite a few there. Let's see. Do any of your CNC machines still use old-fashioned cathode ray tube displays like the? No, none of them do. Our oldest machine we have right now is 2003. Okay, Mike carried that one. So yeah, none of them do. We try to keep stuff new. Really, we try to keep our production CNCs new at about 10 years. Some of the stuff that doesn't get a ton of hours, you know, we'll let it go out to 20 years. But yeah, 20 years, that's pretty much it. So the 2003 machine will be upgraded here very soon. Great question. Really, really good question. Okay. Hello, Rich. Hope you are feeling better. Please put a recording of the video after you do the live, because it'll be 1 a.m. Korean time, and I got you, man. We're definitely going to be saving that. Okay, before I get to this, are we hiring? Yes, we are hiring. J Style the Machine. If you go to jstyletheMachine.com, we are definitely hiring. So, yeah. And then, do I ever work with magnesium? Yes, I have worked with magnesium. I did a long spinning top competition in 2015 or 2016. It's actually, I did a YouTube video where I kind of chronicled the whole thing. And I ended up winning that competition with a tungsten and a magnesium top. And yeah, it had to be under 20 grams, I believe, and my time was like 16:22. And actually that top spun for quite a bit longer, but we only had 3 spins, and we had to take whatever one we wanted, and so there was a lot of pressure. I got a decent spin. It was like 16:22, and I said that's good enough. I'm sticking with it. So yeah, but I have worked with magnesium. The problem with magnesium is that it patinas, and it doesn't stay shiny. And that's kind of what I don't like about it. So it turns like a black color. It's super light. It's really cool stuff, but not one of my favorite materials, just because the look of it isn't kind of the look that I want. But it definitely has its place. So I still have a ton of it in the shop. I just haven't used it in quite a while. Okay, we had some other ones pop up here. Okay, that's a long life even for small parts manufacturing. Yeah, 20 years is about the max that we ever want to push them, but I know a lot of people will still buy 20-year-old machines, you know, if that's their new shop and they can't afford new. So yeah. Casting my vote for a short pen too. Got 2 sole pens for my desk. Would love an option for EDC. Currently carrying a naked space pen refill in my wallet. Yeah. It'll happen. Eventually it'll happen. And cuts like that just make me want to do it more. You know, when I see that there's a demand for stuff, it's like, okay, I'm all for it. I love different variations. And honestly, kind of my dream for Billet Spin is just to have a ton of items on our website. Just a ton. I have everything available, and that would be fantastic. That's kind of my end goal for all of this is, you know, once everything is stocked up, I can do kind of specialty drops, limited edition drops, which is kind of what got Billet Spin started, was those kind of drops. But it'd be nice, it's nice to have just stuff that's always available on the website, because we have new people finding us all the time. When they find us, they don't want to have everything sold out. They want to have something that they can purchase, so that's a good thing. So the next part of his question, my question is, when can we see a sole pen with the ring grip? So another one for the ring grip, and I already answered that. That will happen end of next year, probably, something like that. Next question. Will you make a sole pen with rings? So there's been a lot of people who want a sole pen with rings. So that will happen. In fact, that'll probably be one of the first things we do, honestly, because there's more people that have been asking me for that, really, than any other different type of sole pen variation or cam pen variation, they want that sole pen with the rings. So I will do that. You know, it is what it is. That surprises me, honestly. But I think with a lot of people, they have a pen that has rings on it. They love the feel of it. To me, personally, I'm just giving you my own personal opinion. The teardrops of this is really nice. This has the rings, really nice. I'll take this. Now, the problem with this is it costs a lot more to do. But I love the feel of that. But people want rings, and I can definitely accommodate. Okay, this is a good one. Tip wobble. Let's talk about tip wobble. And this is the perfect opportunity in a live video. What do they mean by that? It means the play that the refill has in the nose cap. A little bit of play here, okay? So this is a big one. Here's what you got to understand. When we first released the sole pen, we had customer service issues because we made the nose cap to fit the Schmidt EasyFlow 9000. That's what we originally released in the sole pen. And we had people that swapped out the refill, and their new refill would not fit through the hole of the nose cap. So we had customer service issues. So what I did was I bought a plethora. I like using words because I'm horrible with them. A plethora of different refills and multiples of refills. And we measured. So we accurately measured this diameter right here. And here's what I can tell you. These vary. This is a Montverde's ceramic gel. And if I measured 100 of these, you would see quite the difference in variation of these. How much? Half the thickness of a human hair. About 2,000s. And I can tell you in machinist terms, that's a mile. But they vary that much. That's just in the same brand. When you go from different ones to different ones, they vary even more. So the hole that is in the sole pen that you can see, if I can get right there, that hole right there that you can see all the way through, back here, see it? That hole is the absolute smallest that we can make it to within 5/10,000ths of an inch, 0.000, said 3 zeros, right? 5. So that is 8 times thinner than the thickness of a human hair. That is how tight we're holding it, and that is the absolute smallest that we can make it in order to accommodate all of the different Parker-style refills. So it's as tight as it can possibly be. Will you have a refill? If you happen to have a refill that's at the bottom end of the entire refill tolerance, there's going to be a little play in there. So this is what I'm going to tell you. If you have a refill that you really like, nobody's ever taken me up on this. If you have a refill that you like and you want to send me the refill, I will make, I won't set up a machine special for this, but if I'm running nose caps, I will make you a nose cap specific for your refill. I'll make the hole size to fit, so there is zero play. But here's what you got to know. When you change your refill out, the next refill might not fit in there. If you want to send me 5 refills, I'll make it so that it fits all 5, as tight as I can make it and fit all 5. If that's a big thing for you, 100%, I'm all over that. So that is something that we can do. It's going to come at a cost. I can't tell you what that cost is. If you shoot me an email, we'll talk about it. Kind of depends on what you want to do. But that is an option if I'm running nose caps, because changing that hole size is pretty simple, so I can definitely do that for you. But again, it's one of those things where it just takes time, and so there will be a cost involved, but I can do that. So that's the deal on tip wobble. This is the perfect venue for me to talk about that, because I get that question a lot. We talked about the revised cam pen mechanism, and again, I'm just going to tell you, we've had zero customer service issues since we started pressing the pins into the end caps. And when I say pressed, it's a slip fit, press fit. Some of them are Loctite, some are press fit, but the hole sizes are very close to the same. A couple tenths here or there, but it's changed the game for the cam pen, and we have had zero, and I'm not lying to you, zero customer service issues. So if you've heard that before, that is completely fixed. We talked about cam pen future models. We talked about the sole pen status. We're getting to the end of this, so if you guys have any questions, hit me up now, because we're almost done with this live video. Another person wants to know about the ring grip on the sole pen. We talked about that. Zerk durability. We talked about that. When will the next check stop be coming out? that was another question that we got. The next chest top will be coming out. I'm going to do my best to get it out this year. Not all of the combos, but I will release the first batch this year. And as everything I can see right now, it's going to be the Pawn. And when are we doing more oil slick twist sole pens? Soon. Soon. If I could put a date on it, I will tell you within the next 2 months for sure, possibly sooner. That's all I have for the questions here. You guys got anything else? Now's the time. Otherwise, I'm going to shut this thing down. I just want to thank everybody for being here. We had a really nice turnout. Hopefully, I was able to answer everything that you guys had. I'm always up for doing more of these. Pens versus tops sold. It's not even close. It's not even close. Tops, we have sold. The tops just went crazy. 2016, well, started in 2015. 2016 is when it really went crazy. It went crazy because of a man named Jim Skelton who featured the Kraken in a YouTube video that just got massive amounts of views, blew up, and we could not even come close to keeping up with the demand. And we're running constantly, and I couldn't keep up with the demand. So we have sold tens of thousands of tops. But the pens overall, long term, will beat out the tops if things keep going the way it is. So yeah, but it's not even close at this point. We have sold a lot of pens, a ton. And eventually they will catch up, but it's going to take a while because we sold just a ton of tops. All right, new material for pens. Yeah, let's talk about that. Get back to work and make us some tops. Yeah, exactly. We're going to get there. Tops are coming. So different materials, what have we got planned? So, you know, I'm not gonna promise anything when it comes to for sure with like copper and brass. I have to do testing on it to make sure. You know, copper and brass are extremely soft, and I just have to make sure. But basically, this is what I'm gonna tell you. There really isn't any material that I'm not gonna consider. I'm gonna consider all of them, and I'm gonna try them. And if it looks like it's not gonna, like it's a good product, because if something is like, I have people that request me to make things, and there can even be a demand for it. But if I'm not happy with the durability of the product or just something else, I won't make it. I'm only gonna make stuff that I'm proud to put my name on. So demand does not always override just my, you know, ethics as far as making products that I want to put my name on. So, but I will try all of them. Copper, brass, you know, we'll probably get into some like composites, try composites, that Ultem, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's that gold translucent material that's just everywhere right now. I'll try that. Glow, I'll definitely do that. Try it, and we'll see how it works. So I'll give you an example of what I meant in the design. In the end cap for this, the threads are in the end cap here, okay? And that's for the clip. So what that allows me to do is use a soft material for the barrel because the threads aren't in the barrel. If the threads are in the barrel wall thickness is really thin, and if I use a soft material, then those threads would strip out. But because I designed it with the threads being in the end cap, now the barrel isn't going to make as much of a difference. And so, you know, I purposely designed the cam pen specifically to be able to use softer materials. So, yeah, just a little interesting note there as far as, you know, it'll open up the doors for using more materials than most. On the sole pen, obviously, we have the threads inside here. This is one other thing I want to show you while we're on video. If you have a sole pen, this is really important, and I feel like I have not done a great job of making sure this is covered. If you just take and unscrew the end cap, the the ball on the end of this will rub on the barrel and you can scratch it. So what you want to do is you actually want to hold the sole pen by the end cap like this with the clip on top. And when you unscrew it, you can actually see that there's a gap there. See that? There's a gap between the ball and the barrel. And you want to just let the weight of this hang down and unscrew it this way. And that way they don't touch it all. See? It just comes unscrewed. If I can get it there, you can see there's a nice gap there. See? And it just stays that way. And then when you screw it back in, same thing. Hold it, let it hang down, kind of even push this down as you screw it back in. And that way it doesn't touch. And when it locks in, this will straighten up because it's going to be perpendicular to that face. It pops up and now you can see there's no gap there. So that's how you take the sole pen apart without scratching up the barrel. Obviously the cam pen has a different type of clip where you unscrew it, and therefore that's not an issue with the cam pen at all. I think we had one other one maybe. Hope your health is well, improving. Back pain is ridiculous to live with. Blessings to you, Sue, and your family and staff. Keep doing up the good work. Steve, I thank you so much for that. Really appreciate you. Meteorite. Yeah, I love Meteorite. Jim Skelton actually used to be on Shop NBC and made me spend so much money on watches. It's ridiculous. But Meteorite was something that he really got me into back in the day. Love me some Jim Skelton. And yeah, so it would be great to work with. It would be great to do. Work with it would be a pain in the rear end because of what it is. Hopefully someday that'll be in a very limited release. One other thing I want to show you guys, since we're here, and then we'll get close unless you guys have any other questions. One of the things that's kind of cool about the sole pen, if you look, you can see around the pusher here, there's a gap. And so what happens on the sole pen, I'll take this thing apart. I'm proud of this because I wanted to be able to use exotic materials for the pusher, but I didn't want it to get the side of it to get scratched up as you actuated it. So there's a pusher bushing on the pusher. You can see there's also a bearing ball that goes in the end of it. And so this bushing fits inside of this bore and there's hardly no play, okay? And so that's what's riding in there is the pusher bushing inside of the bore. So when you push this thing, there's clearance. Let me do this first. So this hole that you can see, the hole that goes all the way through, is quite a bit larger than the diameter of the pusher. And so what happens is the pusher bushing is so tight inside of the bore of this end cap that when you actuate it, it never touches the sides. So when you push it, it's the bushing riding inside of the end cap. It's not actually the pusher that's rubbing on anything, and therefore it doesn't get scratched up at all. Kind of a neat little feature, and that allows us to use different ones. You can actually see the pusher bushing through that little window there, and that's the whole purpose of that. Yeah, kind of a neat thing. Little design element there that I just wanted to point out. Okay, it looks like that's all we got for today. Thank you so much, all of you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, everything you do. If you ever have any questions, comments, critiques, I'm there. Hit me up. One last thing I'm going to close with. When I tell you guys this, so just so you know, my role here at Billet Spin has kind of changed. I design products. I get the machines running. I oversee. I promote on social media. My wife, Sue, handles all of our customer service. I am the wrong person to contact about customer service. If you have, like, let's say you want a question on when your shipping is, or just questions about the products and this and that, you can always reach out to me, but you could do me a huge favor by emailing Sue at billetspin@tds.net. That is our email. It's on our website. It's on our card if you bought products from us. And that's where you want to go with your questions. And then if Sue can't answer the questions, she'll come and ask me. But what happens is I get a lot of messages through social media, and then things kind of get lost. And I apologize for that if you're one of those people that I didn't get back to, or said I was going to get back to that never did. You're better off to email Sue. She's way more organized than I am, and that's what she does for her job. She takes care of all our shipping, and she does all of our customer service. So reach out to her, email her. She will take wonderful care of you. And I think we had one last question. Have you created your ultimate design for a pen? I have. Liam, I have. And I'm going to tell you what it is. If you want the best, if you want my opinion, okay? And I'm not even going to take credit for this. This was somebody else's. His name is Jeremiah Prochnow. I don't think he cares if I tell him to say his name. He's the one that came up with this. And I will tell you what the ultimate combo is for me. And if you want the ultimate, this is what I think it is. And this will be true for the Cam pen as well as the Soul pen. He did this in the Soul pen, the ultimate combo, okay? Black Timascus barrel. It was a polished, this is the key, polished Zerk clip, polished Zerk end cap, Black Timascus pusher, polished Zerk nose cap. Polished is the key. It's a gloss finish. Zerk looks completely different in gloss. And so gloss Zerk, clip was gloss Zerk, end cap was gloss Zerk, Black Timascus pusher, Black Timascus barrel. It was unbelievable. He still has that pen. I believe I had one other request for that pen. I think there's 2 of them out there now. And actually, I might have even put one of those up on the website. So there might be 3 of them out there now. But if you want the ultimate, that's the ultimate, in my opinion. And the nice thing is, because you don't use Black Timascus for the nose cap and the clip, it's quite a bit cheaper than the full Black Timascus, and honestly, I think it looks better. In fact, I think it looks a lot better. To break up, that's a lot of Black Timascus. And I love Black Timascus. I love regular Timascus too. But that is the ultimate. You can also do, if you're not a Black Timascus fan and you want that same kind of combo, do a polished titanium nose cap, polished titanium clip, polished titanium end cap, Timascus barrel, Timascus pusher. I've done that too, and it looks really, really sweet. So, but the Black Timascus with the Zerk, it's just unbelievable. This finish you got on here, this is a brushed finish, and it looks really, really cool. And this would not look as good in this situation if this was gloss. But in that situation, because the Black Timascus has got a very high gloss polish to it before we flame it, it's like peanut butter and jelly. It's like ketchup and steak. Those 2 things just go together so well. It's unbelievable. So if you want the ultimate, that's what I would recommend getting. Okay, that's all I got. We're definitely going to shut her down this time. Thank you for all the amazing questions. Again, hit me up if you ever have questions. I would hit Sue up first. That's right, ketchup and steak. That's right, ketchup and steak. I'm going to tell you, okay, all right, I got to tell you one last story. One last story. This billet spin stuff is done now, but I'm going to tell you one last story. I have a very good friend who's a big hunter, okay? I'm huge on ketchup and steak. Like, people say you don't need ketchup on steak. You do. I do. And so I don't really care. So people are like, if I made you steak, you wouldn't have ketchup. And I'm like, no, I would. I would eat it with ketchup because it tastes better with ketchup. So all my friends, my local friends, they know this. Like, if you invite me over for steak, I'm going to put ketchup on it. So Greg is one of my best friends. Big outdoorsman. And he calls me up. He's like, he wants to get together. He loves playing games. So him and his wife come over to play games with me and my wife. We play this Ticket to Ride game. Super awesome. Look it up if you've never heard of it, if you're a board game type of people. He says, I got these back straps off the Venison back straps. It's just unbelievable. I said, I'll cook them up, bring them over. So he brings over these. Now, me and him have had this conversation about ketchup a million times, but he must have forgotten about this. So he comes over and he's like, hey, do you need help cooking them? Because he wants these things perfect. I'm like, no, Greg, I can cook them. So he's sitting there watching over me the whole time. I was so nervous cooking these venison backstraps. But he's like, this and that. I'm like, I got it, man, I got it. They come out perfect. He takes he cuts it in half. He's like, oh my gosh. And he's just drooling. He's like, dude, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for you I cannot wait for you to taste this thing. So I got the backstrap sitting on my plate, right? And he's just waiting with eager anticipation for me to eat this thing, right? And I take the ketchup I grab the ketchup bottle, and as soon as I grab it, I'm staring him right in the eyes. He's sitting across the table from me, and I just looked him right in the eyes as I took the ketchup, and I just overly just squirted ketchup all over this thing. I never looked down. I cut the piece off. I got it just like this, the biggest gob of ketchup you've ever seen on this beautiful venison backstrap. I looked him right in the eyes. I put it in my mouth, and he almost cried. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And he's like, yep, I knew that. And I was laughing so hard. His wife was in tears. She was laughing so hard, she was literally crying. It was just hysterical. It was awesome. So steak on ketchup. If you never tried it, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's like Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with it. There's not. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. That's all I got. Love you guys. Take her easy. We'll see you next time.